Fishing licenses were not renewed. The Department of Agriculture agreed to issue temporary permits while they await the outcome of the Fishermen's Court appeal. Meanwhile, the man who is responsible for the permit, the department's acting Deputy Director for Fisheries, Desmond Stevens, has been accused by some fishermen of foul play. Some say Stevens has been issuing licenses to people who are inexperienced fishermen and don't even have boats. Now, one of the new license holders include a former gangster, Ernie Lastig Solomon. Stevens' qualifications has also been questioned. All right, but before we get back into this conversation, I just want to give you this this background insert to put you in the picture. Mariska Botha put this together for us.
Die onvoorspelbare water van Valsbaai is die enigste kantoor wat die mans ken. Baie sê visvangers in hul bloed en hul families doen dit reeds vir generasies. Hulle gebrek aan kwotas sal 'n impak op honderde mense in die gemeenskap hê. Ahmad Harris gaan reeds vir byna 30 jaar see toe.
Ek glo regverdig baie veel van wat die departement nou gedoen het om ons mense nou totaal werkloos te maak. Ek kan vir u nou sê dat ek weet nie of my kleinkinders nou van jaar op skool gaan kom nie. En hulle moes ook betaal, daar moet skoolfooie en goedes betaal word, boeke, sakke, skoolskoene, whatever. Dan wil ek nie praat van kos. Ek weet nie of ek miskien nog 'n week gaan lewe nie as ek die kos op die tafel kan eet nie.
Gavin Roux het die vreedsame protesoptrede gereël om die aandag te vestig op hulle lot. Hulle situasie is 'n voorbeeld van probleme wat landwyd ontstaan het nadat die toewysing van nuwe kwotas verlede week bekend gemaak is. Meneer Roux sê hy het 10.000 rande bestee om sy boot op te knap. Nou lyk sy toekoms onseker.
Ons vang met een handlyn per persoon met een hoek. Ons kan nie skade doen aan die see nie. Gaan kyk na die groot tollers, vat hulle goed weg en gee 'n bietjie vir ons liewer as om te almekaar vir die groot mense te gee en by ons weg te vat. Dis ons heeltemal verkeerd. Kyk dit in die regte opsig daarvan, die mense gaan honger ly. Daar's dan geen inkome vir hulle nie. Die mense wat die vis skoonmaak hier so op die slip. Hulle wat gaan hulle nou verdien? Wat gaan hulle eet? Hulle gaan niks sê nie. Die mense by wie die vis afgelaai word en weekliks betaal, waar gaan hulle vis kry? Hulle gaan honger ly. Dit is 'n verskriklike ding wat hier gedoen is.
Sedertdien is 'n tydelike oplossing gevind vir die lynvissers wie se visvangregte nie hernu is nie. Diegene wat hul verstreke visvangregte behoorlik gebruik het, kan aansoek doen om vergunning terwyl 'n appelproses aan die gang is. Mariska Botha, SABC nuus, Kaapstad.
All right, now, joining us on the discussion is Shaheen Mullah, who is a legal advisor to former Fisheries Minister Vali Musa. And he's been quoted in one article as saying, we're talking about the DDG, Stevens doesn't even have the minimum criteria for the job, which are an honours degree or a postgraduate qualification in law, experience, or at least 10 years in domestic fisheries and extensive knowledge of international fisheries management. So let's carry on. I'm going to just start with you, Mr. Mullah, and welcome to our conversation. These are quite scathing attacks against the DDG. Are you completely against this as well?
Well, I think the allocation and the response to the decisions which were made on the 30th of December, literally on the eve on which these 8-year rights expired. And most of these fishermen obviously expected their rights to be renewed because they had, over that 8-year period, adhered to all the department's prescripts. They had fished their quotas, they had complied with fishing laws, etc. So the response, which I completely understand, was that their livelihoods were essentially taken away. And I think the consequence and the consequential outfall from fishing communities has been completely understandable.
All right.
One must understand that I understand that Mr. Stevens has been punting for some time now that many of these fishing quotas should be allocated to small-scale communities or cooperatives. But I think this indicates Mr. Stevens' fundamental lack of understanding of particularly the traditional lionfish sector. If Mr. Stevens understood the nature and the economics of the fishery, he will understand that perhaps the way to actually solve this problem and the actual problem of giving more and more quotas to small-scale communities. And I hasten to add that the line fishery is a fishery that's already in environmental crisis. Most of the species that are fished are overexploited or collapsed, and in any case, the fishery in terms of effort levels is already oversubscribed. So if we understand the economics of the fishery correctly, we will understand that the commercial side, the 450 boats, should not be impacted on by the artisanal or small-scale fishery. Small-scale fishermen along our west coast and southern Cape coast, who are in communities such as Doring Bay, Horneklip Bay, Strays Bay, and other small-scale communities, they can be accommodated without even affecting the commercial fishing quotas by simply, and as has been the case since 2005, through their lobster quotas, being allowed to catch almost unlimited amounts of snook and even hottentot. They fish on average nothing more than a month during the entire year. So, this complaint from Mr. Stevens that he wants to accommodate small-scale communities is, I think, empty. It's unwarranted, it's unjustified based on the economics of the fishery. The economics of the fishery demands much larger commercial-sized boats, which are the ones that we see in Cork Bay Harbour, Azafontein, the larger chucky boats that have been operating in this sector for decades now.
All right. This is a discussion that I know needs to continue, and we are going to continue this discussion. But I have to unfortunately take a break at this point. And Pedro, I know I need your reply, because I think at this point in time there's so much that's been said and accused as well on Mr. Stevens' part. So let's just let's take a break, and again we'll continue this discussion. Stay tuned.